Mom, we need to talk. 5 words that changed everything. My daughter Sarah sat across from me at my kitchen table. That serious look on her face. The one where she's trying to be the parent. I found you on the floor yesterday, Mom. A nursing home. That's what she wanted. To me, that felt like the end of everything. But here I am today, 6 months later, living in a house with 5 other women. No nursing home. No expensive caregivers. And I'm about to tell you exactly how we did it. My name is Margaret Hayes. I'm 73 years old. I was a 4th grade teacher for 30 years. Married to Robert for 48 years. And 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. I was falling. Forgetting things. Living alone in a house that suddenly felt too big and too empty. Sound familiar? Maybe you're nodding right now. Maybe you're facing the same thing. When you reach your 70s, everyone has an opinion. Move in with your kids. Hire a caregiver. Go to a facility. But here's what nobody tells you. None of those options might be right for you. Before we go any further, please hit that like button and subscribe. This channel shares real stories about aging, not the sugar-coated version, the truth. And trust me, today's story will give you a completely different perspective. So let me tell you what happened when I tried all the traditional options, and why I ended up choosing none of them. It started when Robert died. One Tuesday morning. Just didn't wake up. After the funeral, after everyone left, the silence was deafening. I'd set 2 plates at dinner, talk to his empty chair, wait for a laugh that would never come. That's when the falls started. Not dramatic collapses. Just moments where my legs forgot what they were doing. Reaching for the mailbox. Getting out of the shower. The day Sarah found me, I'd been trying to get our wedding album from a high shelf. My depth perception just failed. The doctor called it vertigo. Age-related, managed with medication and caution. Caution. Another word for you're breaking down. I stopped driving after I missed a stop sign. Not because I was hurt, but because the terror on that other driver's face mirrored what I felt inside. What if next time a child was crossing? Sarah started calling twice a day. Then 3 times. Did you take your pills? What did you eat? Mom, please just answer the phone. I wasn't trying to worry her. But some days I'd be reading, and hours would disappear. I'd forget the phone existed. The loneliness was physical. Like weight on my chest. I'd go days seeing no one but the mail carrier. I started eating cereal for dinner. Not because I couldn't cook, but because cooking for one felt like performing for an empty theater. What was the point? Sarah scheduled the first nursing home tour without asking me. Just look, Mom. Just see. Sunset Gardens. Beautiful name. The lobby had fresh flowers and a piano nobody was playing. The director walked us through with a practiced smile. Community dining room. Residents at assigned tables. Activity center. Chair exercises led by a bored-looking man. Garden path. Really just a paved circle around a gazebo. Then she showed me the rooms. Small. Clean. Single bed. Dresser. Window looking out at a parking lot. A place to put my photos. A place to keep my things. A place to wait. We have bingo on Tuesdays and movie nights on Fridays. Families can visit any time during the hours of 9 to 7. Hours. There were hours when my daughter could visit me. We looked at 3 more places. Each one slightly different. Fundamentally the same. Cheerful staff. Organized activities. Safe, monitored, controlled environments. One had an art room. Another had a library. The most expensive one had a saltwater pool and a beauty salon. But they all had the same smell. Industrial cleaner trying to mask something else. And they all had the same eyes in the common rooms. Residents sitting, watching, waiting for visiting hours or dinner or tomorrow, which would look exactly like today. One viewer once commented, "Nursing homes feel like waiting rooms for death." Harsh words. But standing in those facilities, I understood exactly what they meant. The cost? $3,000 to $6,000 a month. My teacher's pension and Robert's Social Security covered my bills. But not that. Not even close. So Sarah tried bringing in help. Carla arrived on a Monday. Professional caregiver. Excellent references. Kind but efficient. She moved through my home with clipboard energy, reorganizing my medications, labeling my kitchen cabinets, suggesting we clear out some of this clutter to prevent falls. The clutter was my life. Every book, every knick-knack, every piece of furniture held a memory. I didn't need someone to manage me. I needed someone to see me. The cost? $1,500 a month for part-time help. Just 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Carla lasted 2 weeks, not because she was bad at her job, but because I couldn't afford having a stranger in my home, making me feel like a task to be completed. Someone commented on a similar video, "Health is everything. If you're healthy, you can live alone. The problem comes when your body fails and you lose your freedom." They were right. I wasn't there yet. So why was I living like I was? "Then come live with us," Sarah finally said. I could hear both the offer and the dread underneath it. David and Sarah had their own lives. 2 teenagers. Demanding jobs. A household running on a schedule I could barely comprehend. I'd be the grandmother in the guest room, trying to stay invisible, trying not to need too much, trying not to be the reason Sarah's marriage strained under one more responsibility. One night, I overheard Sarah on the phone. "I know it's the right thing to do, but honestly, it's exhausting. I can't even go shopping without worrying. And you can tell she feels left out when we go places." Those words crushed me. Living with family doesn't mean you're less lonely. Sometimes it makes the loneliness worse. Because you're surrounded by people, yet you still feel invisible. I'd raised my children to have their own lives. I couldn't become the reason they resented theirs. So I was stuck. Too alone to be safe at home. Too proud to accept help. Too aware that every option ended with me being less. Less independent, less dignified. Less myself. That's when I met Dorothy. By accident, literally. I was at the grocery store, knocked over a display of canned tomatoes, trying to reach the ones in back. Dorothy was behind me. 78 years old. Bright pink sneakers. A laugh like music. "Been there," she said, helping me restack cans. My advice? Always take from the front. Let the next person solve the mystery. We ended up having coffee at the store's little cafe. She told me she was shopping for 6. "I live in a house with 5 other women," she explained. "We call it the Golden Girls arrangement. Except none of us are as funny as B. Arthur." 3 years ago, Dorothy was exactly where I was. Widowed. Kids worried. Looking at nursing homes that felt like giving up. Then she met Helen at a grief support group. Helen was selling her house to move into assisted living. Dorothy joked, "Wouldn't it be funny if we just moved in together instead?" Turned out, it wasn't a joke. Helen had a big house and didn't want to live alone. Dorothy had savings and the same problem. They found 4 other women in similar situations. None of them wanted to burden their families. But none of them wanted to disappear into some facility either. So they didn single quotes T. 2 weeks later, Dorothy took me to meet them. The house was in a quiet neighborhood. Rambling 2-story with a wheelchair ramp and a garden that clearly had multiple people's attention. Inside was chaos in the best way. Someone cooking. Someone reading aloud in the living room. Someone laughing on the phone. Helen explained their arrangement. Each woman had her own bedroom. They shared common spaces. Everyone contributed what they could: money, cooking, cleaning, company. They hired a part-time nurse who checked on them twice a week. They had a shared car and took turns driving, or called taxis when no one felt confident. "We're not a nursing home," Helen said firmly. "We're a household. We argue about whose turn it is to buy milk. We have movie nights and book clubs. Sometimes we sit in complete silence doing our own thing. But nobody's alone. Nobody's being managed. We're just living together." Here's what shocked me: the cost. Each woman contributed $500 to $800 a month. Total household expenses split 6 ways: utilities, food, the part-time nurse, occasional maintenance, $500 a month versus $3,000 for a nursing home, or $1,500 for a caregiver dot. And the difference wasn't just money. One of the women, Patricia, was 91, frail, walked with a walker. But sharp as glass dot, she taught piano lessons twice a week to neighborhood kids. The income was tiny, but she said it made her feel like more than her age. Zhang had been a nurse. She kept everyone's medications organized, spotted health issues early, knew when to insist someone see a doctor, not as a job, as someone who cared. "What do your families think?" I asked. Dorothy smiled. They were skeptical. Then they visited, saw us laughing, saw us functioning, saw that we were taking care of each other better than any institution could. Because we actually care if we're happy, not just if we're safe. They had a room available. Margaret, one of their original 6, had passed away peacefully in her sleep 2 months earlier. They weren't in a rush to fill it, but they were looking for someone who understood what they were building. "We're not perfect," Helen warned. "Sometimes people get on your nerves. Sometimes someone's health crisis becomes everyone's worry. But we're a family we chose. And that makes all the difference." I visited 3 more times before I decided. I moved in 4 months ago. My bedroom has my own furniture, my photos, my books. But downstairs is a kitchen where I help make dinner 3 nights a week, where Dorothy and I share coffee every morning, where Helen and I argue affectionately about politics, where Patricia plays piano while Zhang hums along off-key. Last week, a woman from our church fell and broke her hip. Her daughter was frantic. Looking at nursing homes. Helen invited them for tea, showed them what we'd built. I watched the relief wash over both their faces. There was another option. Some people ask, but what about when you get really sick? Fair question. Maybe one day I'll need more help. Maybe I'll revisit those options. But for now, I'm living. And when that day comes, I'll face it the same way. Find what works for me, not what society says I should do. Here's what I learned. And I hope you're paying attention, because this might change how you think about aging. First, you don't need to choose between total independence and total dependence. There's a middle ground. You can accept help without giving up control. You can contribute without exhausting yourself. The nursing homes were designed around one idea: that aging means needing to be taken care of. That safety is the highest goal, but I didn't need to be managed. I needed to be needed. Second, community matters more than money. I could have spent $3,000 a month to be safe and lonely. Instead, I spend $500 and feel more connected than I have in years. Why? Because money buys services, not relationships. When I bake bread now, I'm baking for 6 people who will tell me it's delicious. When Patricia teaches her piano students, we all benefit from the music. When Zhang notices Helen's medication is making her nauseous and calls the doctor, she's using her skills. We're not helping each other out of obligation. We're building a life together. Third, you still have something valuable to give. Age doesn't make you worthless. It just changes what you have to offer. I can't drive safely anymore. I fall sometimes. I forget names and misplace my glasses. I'm not who I was at 40 or 50, but I'm still Margaret. Still here. Still contributing. Still needed. Forth. There are more possibilities than you've been told. A. Group of stubborn women with limited resources and unlimited determination built something that looks like family. Nobody told us this was an option. We created it. One commenter said it perfectly. The key isn't living with family or alone. The key is staying healthy and building a community that supports each other. That person understood exactly what we discovered. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying everyone should do exactly what I did. Your situation might be different. Maybe you're sicker than I am. Maybe living with your kids actually works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. But here's what I want you to understand before you choose a nursing home. Before you decide the only options are staying alone or giving up independence. Before you accept that aging means diminishing, ask yourself, what else might be possible? Ask what you need, not just what you're told you should accept. You might be surprised by the answers. I'm 73 years old. That Tuesday morning, when Sarah said we needed to talk, I thought my life was ending. Turned out, it was just changing direction. And the road I found, the one I didn't even know existed, has been the most surprising journey of all. So here's my question for you. What does aging mean to you? Is it something that happens to you? Or something you can still shape? If you could design the last chapter of your life, what would you want it to include? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And maybe your story could help someone else find their own unexpected path. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening to mine.